Good evening. Please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is held in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. The news media has been notified, and a copy of the agenda has been made available to the public. This meeting is open to the public, and the public is welcome to attend in person. All persons wishing to attend the meeting by virtual means may do so via YouTube Sumter School District Board Meetings and Sumter School District Facebook page. Vision. Sumter School District is committed to educating, empowering, and enriching the lives of all students to reach their full potential. Mission. Sumter School District is committed in providing a safe, nurturing, and high-quality educational environment that supports diversity and equips students for local and global success. Your board members are yours truly, Barbara Jackson, Area 7, Chairwoman. Dr. J. Frank Baker, Seat 8, is our Vice Chair. Dr. Darrell McGaney, Area 5, is the Clerk. Mr. Brian Alston, Area 1. Mrs. Cheryl Ray, Area 2. Mr. Matthew McLeod is Area 3. Dr. John B. Hilton, Area 4. Dr. Gloria Rose Lee is Area 6. Dr. Sean Reagan is Seat 9. Dr. Penelope Martin Knox is our Superintendent, and Ms. Amy Hanson is our Administrative Manager. This evening, we have the swearing in of our ex-official school board member by Sumter County Solicitor Ernest A. Finney III.
She asked, was he delayed?
He's being delayed.
Okay, Chief Solicitor Finney is being delayed, so Dr. Martin Knox is going to do the offer the oath to Ms. Denise Jones. And I'd like to say to Ms. Jones, we do welcome you, and we're happy to have you join us. And I know that you will serve Sumter School District as well as Shaw well in your position. I would like to formally announce or acknowledge you as in attendance, and you're now going to receive the oath of office.
So I'd ask that you repeat after me with your right hand in the air. This is the oath of office. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution of this state to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been elected, and that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge the duties thereof, and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of this state and of the United States
would just like to say to Ms. Jones, welcome to Sumter School Board of Trustees. You're now one of us, and we do appreciate your consenting to join us with our board. At this time, this meeting is now called to order. So we are pleased to welcome our guests in person as well as those that are joining us virtually. And I'd like to say to the Rafting Creek Elementary School, to Mr. Principal Brandon Wells, we thank you for you and as well as your staff hosting this meeting. We do appreciate you and thank you so much for allowing us to meet here this evening. Let's, all of us, I'm sure I'm expressing the sentiment of all of the board members. And at this time, I want to welcome you to Rafting Creek Elementary School, and just know that we are here for our meeting this evening. Are there any objections to the approval of the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could you inform the body of how many public participation forms that we received this evening?
Yes, we've only received 4.
Okay. Do we need to extend time to allow full participation of the public participation participants this evening?
We only have, it's 3 minutes per, it's a total of 15 minutes, and at 3 minutes, 3 times 4 is 12. So we only have 12 minutes so far. And we don't have any virtual.
Oh, okay.
Beg pardon? Okay, so where is he?
He's right here.
Okay, in that Solicitor Finney is here, and he is with us, so we're going to ask him to administer the oath to Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Denise Jones. So would you stand, Ms. Jones, for the solicitor to please administer the oath? Thank you, Solicitor Finney, and Ms. Jones, you just got double-time oath. But we do appreciate you, and that's no reflection to our superintendent administering the oath, but we just felt that since Solicitor Finney did come in, and we had him on the program for that, he should have been offered the opportunity. So thank you, Solicitor Finney. We do appreciate you. Okay, that being done, this meeting is now called to order. We did ask for the agenda approval, so we only have 4 participants that have signed up, so we do have adequate time to give everyone equal time. So thank you, Mr. Alston. And the guideline for public participation is the board is pleased to offer this time for regular monthly, at the regular monthly board meeting each month for public participation, both in person and electronically. According to our policy, the board will allow 15 minutes at the onset of each regular meeting for public participation. The chairman reserves the right to limit discussion of same topic issues in an effort to provide individuals the opportunity to be heard on a variety of topics. Public participation will not exceed 3 minutes for each individual unless waived by a majority vote of the board. consideration may be given for a public hearing for gaining input on crucial matters. Speakers may offer objective comments on school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not will not permit in public session any expression of personal complaints about individual school personnel or any other persons connected with the school system. At this time, we will open the floor for public comments not to exceed 15 minutes or 3 minutes for each participant. That being said, we do have 4 persons that have signed up, and our first speaker is Ms. Patty Wilson.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and members of this board. I'm Patty Wilson, and I am pleased that you've given me this opportunity to speak to you. I must say that I am not at all happy with you as a board, and so I'm going to briefly convey my concerns. I am rather embarrassed with you as a board, and I'm going to briefly tell you what those concerns are. I am deeply concerned with your unification as you vote with your number 5. When you vote, you were hired as individuals, but you vote unanimously pretty much all the time, 5-4, when you could be breaking that up and choosing to go in opposite directions, and your decisions could have different ways when you end up voting as a unit. I am questioning your decision when you decided on your decision for your people, when you brought in your persons for the people that you brought for us to take a look at for the superintendent. You brought a search firm in, and the search firm could only bring us 2 people, and one from the in-house. Of all the people that were out there filling out positions, only 2 were there to bring for us to take a look at. I'm sure they had more than that, but you could only bring us 2 and 1. I'm not satisfied with that. When our superintendent decided to leave, she was better than all 3 of those, I'm sure. Now, moving forward to February the 28th, when our superintendent told you all that she was leaving, and you all decided that you would go and have a conversation in the boardroom. You came out just before you went in. There was a motion that was placed on the table, and illegal, I must tell you, it was illegally done on the 28th. And you had the motion illegally done, and you had the ability to stop it, but yet and still, you as a board did not do that. I say to you, you should have stopped it, and then it would not have gone any farther. I am so glad that come November, you're going to have to go before this community and
Wilson.
then ask to be reelected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Our next person is Mr. William Goins.
I have a petition to present y'all.
Thank you, sir.
My name is William Goins. I'm chief of the Black River Indian Nation. The reason I'm here today is because my people came from Privateer Township. In 1957, the Furman Middle School opened, and it was called the Furman Indians. Now, my people couldn't go to Furman Middle School. They couldn't go to no school in Sumter County. And the reason for that, because they wasn't white. And neither could African Americans. They couldn't go either. We fall behind, our people fall behind the African American people, because the African American people, they had a leader. They had a great leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. We didn't. But now, our people has a leader. And this school, this mascot thing of a Indian on a wall in a headdress, 2 little Indian boys at Pacala School, that's a disgrace. That's racist to our people. And it should be removed. It should be done immediately. Y'all are not responsible for it being there, but y'all are responsible if it stays there. It's wrong. We didn't have a leader, like I said, like Martin Luther King, to lead us like the African American people. They couldn't go either. They were in the same boat we were in. But all that has got to change. I live in Greeleyville, South Carolina. My people had to leave Sumter County, your county that you're representing today, and go find. Went down there. They couldn't. Same way here. They couldn't get in this public school. You're not white. They ended up building a 1-room building, and it becoming a school. Had to go to North Carolina. Same way. Couldn't get in. But hey, they were a little bit better than what we were. They sued the school district in North Carolina and won the case. But still, they felt so bad they went to their own school. These mascots, they could have been named anything else. And I will work with you. If you let me, I will work with you, and we can resolve this issue. But things has got to be done. Things has to be done. The ball is in your court.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Goins. We do appreciate you, and
Thank you. And
we have your petition here. Okay, our next person to speak, address the board is Debbie Sisson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
During a recent board meeting, I heard "for the good of the children" was the phrase, but it doesn't seem like that around this district. I'm here because of a diploma track student that needs a shadow to attend in-person learning. Having no shadow has kept her homebound with limited services for over 2 years, during which time she went from being an honor student to just getting by or failing a class because of lack of material brought to her. One might ask, why not virtual? Because of her medical issues, the computer is not an option. On March 1st, her mother informed the school that she was getting very depressed and needed to be in school. And she gave the school 5 days to get a shadow or be sued. On March the 7th, myself, as well as another employee, split our day up. half with the shadow of the student, half with our assigned classroom. This gets me to the good of the children. Shadows are medically deemed necessary for some students to attend school. Even though they may not have a title or a degree, they are worth so much more because they hold that child's education as well as life in their hands. But it seems that our district would rather pay outrageous salaries for positions such as a non-critical rehire, coaches that don't even teach not one class, an employee that doesn't have any duties but sits and chats all day or most of the day. Perhaps it may be one of those district duplicate positions that was never eliminated but given creative titles when we became one district. Salary should not be based on a title or degree. The importance and duties of that or any job should also be considered. And I'm asking you not to approve the 22-23 budget. Not. At that same time, I'm asking you to go encourage the district to cut some of the fat from that budget and increase salaries of shadows as well as other at or near poverty level salaries. There's plenty of ways to cut the fat. We are an at-will state. Okay.
I'm sorry.
all
If you
right.
have anything else, you may submit it to
I
us,
will.
and we will be happy
So
to.
which,
we
can I
will be
finish
happy
two?
to,
Okay, so,
we will be happy
which
to
is
address
more
that.
important? Their education and or their life? I've got something to hand all of y'all. Or the good old boy system of all the politics. This is about the superintendent search. It was a rumor, that's why I'm bringing it to y'all. I'm not gonna put it out, but I think all of y'all should look at this. Could I pass one to each person?
Well, just,
Chair.
Okay.
we'll get it to them.
But I thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you. And we are asking our attendees to let's please follow directions that's been requested. The thing of it is, we want to give everyone the same amount of time. So when I call time, the clock is on the monitor up there. It's not being disrespectful to them in any way. We've already said 3 minutes, and when it rolls around, please, when the 3 minutes comes, time is being called consistently to everyone. So I'm just asking that you please respect that request. Thank you so much. Our next person is Ayana Richburg. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I had everything planned out what I wanted to say, but you brought up Dr. Jackson. You said about respect. The community hasn't been respected in a mighty long time by this board. We sit and wait when you go into executive session for hours, waiting for y'all to come back. You could extend the same courtesy when we come up here to speak in regards to our concerns of our children and the community. We have seat 8, area 5, area 2, area 3, and area 4. The good boy club, the good girl club. When we went and witnessed the superintendent search, we was in the cafeteria watching them as they was on their phone chuckling. The same person that revved back in his seat and was totally disrespectful of his superintendent to sit up here and say, is he done yet? Is that it? And they laughed and they chuckled. They didn't pay no attention to what Dr. Prince said, and that was evident. Everyone saw it. It wasn't a secret. So I'm asking, and I don't want a generic response. I don't want a letter just saying thank you for your concern. I want real answers. They need to excuse themselves from voting because they wasn't paying attention. They already had their mind made up of who they want in that position because they already know who they're going to control in that position. Dr. Knox, we're going to miss you. We appreciate all your hard work. Whoever gets this position, they have a hard way to go because we're gonna stay on them. We're gonna stay on these on this board to make sure they get replaced in November. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Richburg. There were no comments electronically submitted, so on behalf of the board, we'd just like to thank all of you for expressing your thoughts and concerns in reference to the school district. We will get back to you in a timely manner, and I'll respond back to your concerns. And we do appreciate your questions. And again, thank you. Ladies, gentlemen, please. This is a formal board meeting, and we do appreciate your attendance and participation. Okay, trustees, are there any announcements?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Alston.
I just wanted to say on behalf of myself, I just wanted to take the opportunity to recognize our military families and our military spouses in honor. May is the month of military appreciation. I think it's very fitting that Ms. Jones was sworn in to our board this evening during the month of military appreciation. So to all our military families and spouses, I just want to say thank you. And to all our participants here, welcome to Area 1. I know it's something that I cared much about because I wanted this board and this body to travel around the district, and it's the reason why I asked that our board meetings travel around. So I just want to say welcome to Area 1, as well as thank you to our military families for your service and your sacrifices. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alston. Anyone else as far as announcements? Okay, hearing none. Dr. Hilton, do we have any down there? Okay. Dr. Hilton, is there a legislative update?
Yes, ma'am. The legislative update is loaded into board docs. Information from this past week in the South Carolina legislature is loaded there for your information and your perusal. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hilton. Okay. We're down now to committee reports. Do we have any committee reports?
Madam Chair, from the Facilities Committee, we plan to meet May 18th at 6 o'clock p.m. at the district office. Thank you.
Okay. Finance?
The Finance Committee has announced that we scheduled a meeting for May 16th at 6 o'clock at the district office.
Okay. Policy?
Madam Chair, the Policy Committee will meet on May 12th at 6 p.m. at the district office to continue review of the equity policy, as well as some other policies that are forthcoming as we finalize the agenda for that meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alston. We have here also the SCSBA officers, Board of Directors nomination. Did we have any nominations that we would like to add to that? Okay, hearing none on that. What about the proposal for 22-23, the legislative resolution or amendments? Did you have any suggestions or amendments to that document that was shared sometime months ago and we submitted to you for this review this time? Okay, hearing none. What about the SCSBA Constitution, the proposal for changes? Okay, hearing none. And we also have the 22-23 board meeting calendar. It identifies where the meetings are going to be scheduled, 22-23. any comments or questions concerning those items? Okay, if not, the superintendent report, we are now going to, at this point on the agenda, ask Dr. Penelope Martin Knox to please proceed with the items listed under this session.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Jackson, Vice Chairwoman, Vice Chairman Dr. Baker, members of the Sumter School District Board, and members of the Sumter School District community, those who are here with us in person this evening, and those who have joined us virtual. Trustee Alston took a portion of the superintendent's report, but it is so important that we reiterate the love and the care and the support we show our military families. How fitting is it for us to install Ms. Jones as a representative of the military families for Shaw Air Force Base here, right here in our community. The sacrifices that our servicemen and women make each and every day, we can't say thank you enough. So Ms. Jones, from Sumter School District and from our community to you and our military men and women, thank you for everything that you do every day, all year for our country. Just thank you. I would also like to talk about open enrollment. So open enrollment for kindergarten through 12th grade is May 1st through May 31st. Applications are currently online only. Parents can access the applications from sumterschools.net. A laptop is also available in the lobby of the district office to assist our parents who may have limited access. Please click on the open enrollment icon on our homepage to access the application, frequently asked questions for open enrollment, and out-of-zone requests, and open enrollment availability that shows the grade levels that are available for open enrollment. There is also a separate application procedure and regulations for pre-kindergarten students. Any pre-kindergarten student who attends school out of zone must enroll in the zone school for kindergarten or complete an open enrollment application for kindergarten. This is a month where we begin to talk about winding down our year, but it is also a time where we celebrate our love of education and for our individuals who deliver instruction every day. This past Wednesday, we were filled with joy and excitement as we celebrated Mr. Thomas Slater at the State Teacher of the Year banquet. Mr. Slater was a finalist among the many talented educators from around the state of South Carolina. We'd like to thank him for his dedication and service to Sumter School District and our children at Chestnut Oaks Middle School. So congratulations again, Mr. Slater, because you truly are a winner for us. And we'd also like to thank our state winner, Mr. Devin, and his last name, Dion. It's escaping me, and I apologize. We would like to congratulate Mr. Dion for winning the State Teacher of the Year award this past Wednesday. Congratulations to the following students from Lakewood High School for being selected for Palmetto Girls State and Palmetto Boys State champions: Shania Brown, Mark Newman, and Tylen Walters. Also, congratulations to the following students from Crestwood High School for being selected for Palmetto Girls State and Palmetto Boys State: Janiyah Morton, Faith Wack, Lillian Tillman, Josiah Edness, and Jahan Miller. And while we're celebrating our children, solo and ensemble superior ratings. 22 of our students from Alice Drive Middle School and 5 students from Bates Middle School earned superior ratings at the Solo and Ensemble Festival. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the process, superior ratings are the highest ratings that can be achieved by any one performer. This was a day filled with excitement and pride as we continue to recognize the importance of the arts and their contribution to the development of our children. Congratulations to Beverly Sowell from Bates Middle School for winning the 2022 Santee Lynch's South Carolina School Counselor of the Year Award. Walter Robertson from Sumter Career and Technology Center also won the 2022 Santee Lynch's South Carolina CTE School Counselor of the Year Award. And as you can hear, there are a lot of great things happening throughout our school district, and all which benefits our children. We also have 4 students from Hillcrest Middle School who were selected to attend the Governor's School this summer. Congratulations to Walker Craven, Delaney DeBlanc, Gabrielle Garrison, and Emma Ketchum. And congratulations to our Sumter Career and Technology students for earning the 6 Sigma Yellow Belt certification. This certification, provided by Central Carolina Technical College, provides training in the basic framework skills and tools of Lean Six Sigma. Participants learn how Lean Six Sigma can be used to establish efficient processes while delivering consistent levels of customer quality. I would also like to say thank you to Mr. Wells and his team for opening the doors of Rafting Creek. I don't know how many of you have been in the building before, but Rafting Creek is a quiet little space that's a diamond in the rough. So if you've ever had the opportunity to come and watch our children in action, I'd ask you to seize that moment just to come and watch them. It is a place to behold, and we continue to ask our community to galvanize around our schools to support what's happening. And finally, each year, student members of the National Society of High School Scholars are invited to nominate the educator who has made the most significant contribution to their academic careers for the Claes Noble Educator of Distinction Award. This honor recognizes exemplary educators whose passion and devotion inspire their students to grow and develop as scholars, leaders, and citizens. Congratulations to John Beck and Raya Mohandes, teachers at Crestwood High School, for receiving this recognition. That concludes that portion of the superintendent's report and tour of Sumter. And I'd also like to close with thanking our teachers as we just concluded Teacher Appreciation Week for all of the hard work that they've done and they continue to do, as well as our paraprofessionals and all support staff that make our school district the best place it can be. And to our principals as we celebrated National Principal Day last week. Thank you to our leaders for going above and beyond the call of duty to ensure that our children have all that they need and deserve. And at this point, I'd like for our Be Smart presenters to come forward. Ms. Galloway, are you going to lead this? And while you're doing that, Ms. Galloway, just to give you an idea of what we are embarking upon as a school district, Be Smart is an initiative that began in Richland 2. And when you see good practices and what's good for children, you seize those moments, as I stated earlier. And so Sumter School District, in collaboration with the Sumter County Sheriff's Department and the Sumter City Police Department, are working collectively to make sure that we are smart in making sure we safeguard our children. At this time, Ms. Galloway.
Good evening, Chairwoman Dr. Jackson, Vice Chairman Dr. Baker, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Martin Knox. As Dr. Martin Knox said, Sumter School District joined 7 other school districts in the Midlands to sign the Be Smart Memorandum of Agreement. And we joined law enforcement officials and healthcare agencies as well. So Sarah Venn from the Be Smart initiative is here to join us to give us an overview on the program. And so now I'll turn it over to Ms. Venn.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
My name is Sarah Venn. I am a parent in Richland too. I've got 4 daughters. I've got 1 in high school, 1 in middle school, and 2 in elementary school. So I've got the whole age range of kids. And I'm going to talk to you guys about the Be Smart program today. Am I able to share my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Are you able to see this?
No.
No. Okay. Let's see. I don't see anything on here right there.
It's there.
Yep, I see that. It's, I can just tell you to move on to each screen if we want to do it that way. We can do that. We'll start on the first one is that we can start right there. In the U.S., firearms are the first leading cause of death for children and teens in South Carolina. As this slide shows, more than 1,600 children under the age of 18 are killed with guns in the U.S. every year, an average of 5 children every day. When children in America are killed with guns, the majority of those deaths, 53%, are homicides. That's nearly 900 children per year. Another 700 children die by firearm suicide each year, and 90 are unintentionally shot and killed. Gun violence costs South Carolina $6.1 billion each year, of which almost $300 million is paid by taxpayers. We know that approximately 4.6 million children in the U.S. live in a household with at least 1 loaded, unlocked gun. And this number has likely increased in light of the surge in gun sales during the COVID-19 pandemic. While school shootings and mass shootings typically make national headlines, the reality is that for children under the age of 13, gun homicides most frequently occur in the home. And one study showed that nearly 90% of unintentional shooting deaths and injuries among children under the age of 15 occur in the home. What's more, we know that in incidents of gunfire on school grounds, 75% of active shooters were current or former students, and 80% of shooting guns they used from their home or the home relatives or friends. You know, this isn't about it. We all come from different walks of life. Our parents, some are non-gunners and some are not. You may have had a personal experience with guns, and some of you may have even been impacted by gun violence. We believe that most gun owners want full gun owners. Like to talk about what all of us, gun owners and non-gun owners alike, to make sure to guns. I can get you to move on to the next one. So let's leave politics aside and agree on these three things. We all want kids to grow up happy, healthy, and safe. We each have the right to make responsible decisions about how to protect families and communities, including whether or not to have a gun in our home. If we can prevent even one child gun death or injury, it's our responsibility to do so. We're not here to talk about laws, so let's set that aside. Move on to the next slide. I want to take a few minutes to talk specifically about what the consequences of unsecured guns looks like. On this slide, you'll see just a few headlines from stories from South Carolina and across the country that reflect the consequences of unsecured guns. Most, if not all of you, recall the Townville shooting in September 2016, killing a 10-year-old boy drove into the school parking lot at Townville Elementary School and shot two 6-year-olds and a teacher. One of the 6-year-olds died and the other child and a teacher were injured. More recently, at Tanglewood Middle School in Greenville, a 12-year-old brought a gun to school and shot and killed another 12-year-old. According to the data we have gathered, there were at least 5 incidents of gunfire and at least 29 incidences where firearms were discovered in South Carolina in 2021, and these incidences continue to happen in 2022. The next tragedy took place in fall 2021, when on the same day, 2 different 4-year-olds in South Carolina, one in Easley and one in Newberry County, unintentionally shot themselves. The boy in Newberry County found a loaded gun in an unlocked his parents' bedroom while they were asleep. There were at least 15 unintentional shootings by children in South Carolina in 2021. The next adults are looking to carry guns out of fear. Easy access to guns can help facilitate the cycle of violence. Like 17-year-old Zeke of Jackson, Mississippi, who told the Jackson Free Press that some young people in his community carry guns out of fear of being robbed or shot, and believe that having a gun will allow them to defend themselves. The final story occurred in May of 2021. According to law enforcement, a Ware Shoals High School student, when a school staff member was attempting to confiscate a jewel device, the staff member noticed that a student also had a handgun. It was during this time that the student suddenly shot and killed himself. He made an impulsive decision that tragically became a fatal one. All of these stories show the fallout of when young people get their hands on unsecured guns. No story is quite the same, but all are tragic and all are preventable. Can get you to move on? Thank you. It's important to remember that even if you are practicing secure gun storage, or if you don't have a gun in your home, you can't be sure about other homes. You can't be sure how responsible other people are being, and that's where our Be Smart program becomes helpful. What can we do? We can learn to be smart. Move on to the next slide. Let's start with S. Secure your guns in homes and vehicles. 13 million households with children contain at least one gun, and the majority of children in gun-owning households know where the gun is stored. We already know that that in incidents of gunfire on school grounds, the majority of shooters under the age of 18 obtain the guns from their home or the homes of relatives or friends. So what do I mean by securing guns? Guns should be stored locked and unloaded, with ammunition stored separately. Hiding a gun is not securing a gun. And we know that can lead to tragedy. We talked about the two 4-year-olds that accessed unsecured guns and unintentionally shot themselves. And remember Zeke from Mississippi, who spoke of the complicated safety reasons that push some teens to want a gun? Keep in mind that kids may feel a variety of emotions about guns, from curiosity to fascination to fear. As adults, it's our responsibility to prevent easy access to guns. Research also finds that secure storage is associated with a decreased risk of firearm suicide and unintentional firearm injury among children. One study showed that households that lock both firearms and ammunition had a 78% lower risk of self-injuries among children and teenagers and an 85% lower risk of unintentional firearm injuries. Some commonly used secure storage practices include ammunition storage separately to his tenure. Estimated 380,000 guns were stolen from private gun owners every year, and gun owners were 3 times more likely to have a gun stolen if they carried a gun in the last month. Research also suggests that nearly 1/4 of stolen guns are taken from cars. So storing a gun in a glove compartment or underneath a car seat is not considered secure storage. We have a handout that the school district has access to that talks about secure storage. And we can move on to M on the next slide. M, model responsible behavior. Every law-abiding adult has the right to decide whether or not to have a gun in the home, but we can't rely on curious kids not to find a gun. As we saw on the slide before, one study showed that the majority of children are aware of where their parents store their guns, and that more than 1/3 reported handling their parents' guns, many doing so without the knowledge of their parents. Nearly 1/4 of parents did not know that their children had handled a gun in their house. It is always the adult's responsibility to prevent unauthorized access to guns, not a curious child's responsibility to avoid guns. Talk to your kids about gun safety, but remember that's a precaution, not a guarantee. One study found that young children who go through a week-long gun safety training are just as likely as children with no training to approach or play with a handgun when they find one. Modeling behavior means that smart adults make sure that kids don't have the opportunity to access guns. That said, you can't control the environment that your child is in at all time, so you use your gun if you come across one, real or pretend, and give them the tools to get out of a dangerous situation and to alert an adult. As an adult, it's your responsibility to do everything they can to prevent them from getting in a dangerous situation to begin with. We also have a handout about best practices to talking to your children and teens about guns. And the next slide is A for ask. As we mentioned, there are approximately 4.6 million children in the U.S. living in a household with at least one loaded, unlocked gun. That's why you need to ask about firearms in other homes that child visits, the A in SMART. What are some things you ask about before allowing your child to go to a friends or another home? Parents ask about potential allergens or pets in the home, free car seats for rides, who will be home for play dates or teen events, breastfeeding, and alcohol. Next slide, please. It would be as natural as asking about the issue, but it can seem awkward at first. So try to make it a part of your general safety. You are comfortable at first. We also have a handout about this. Now the next slide. Let's talk about R, guns and suicide. Access to a gun can mean the difference between life and death, and the Ware Shoals High School story. When you get older, you may need to consider taking in your storage methods. lot to think about getting it. We all know how curious children. And also, if you know your this information, most people do not adapt to use it.
Ms. Venn?
In fact, 90%.
Ms. Venn? I think she's frozen up now.
Ms. Venn, your presentation is frozen, and you're cutting in and out.
I'll go ahead and do the rest of this.
I mean, is that better?
We are here.
Can you hear me?
We hear you at the moment, but you're cutting in and out in your presentation.
Okay.
Let's see whether we can hear you. Proceed.
Here, are you hearing me okay?
No, ma'am, we're not.
No.
Can you proceed?
Let me try to, call in using my phone, and we'll see if that works better.
Okay, Dr. Martin Knox will just complete that here locally, and we do appreciate what you've done, but you're cutting in and out. And if you don't mind, Dr. Martin Knox said that she would complete it.
So the next letter in the acronym is R, to recognize the role of guns in suicide. And when we look at the number of suicides that have taken place with our students across the nation, most of our students who attempt suicide do not die unless they use a gun. And so 90% of suicide attempts with a gun result in death. Shirley, can you mute her, or Amy, mute her?
Amy, would you please mute that?
And it is a much higher fatality rate than any other means of self-harm. This contributes to the fact that 40% of child suicides involve guns. A survey of high school students found that 17% had seriously considered attempting suicide within the past year. And one study showed that 41% of adolescents in gun-owning households report having easy access to the guns in their homes. The purpose of us coming together is to make sure we tell our peers to be smart. Your voice and all voices are critical, and research shows that law enforcement, the military, and hunting and outdoor groups are particularly effective at communicating safe storage practices. Someone hears the Be Smart message every 21 minutes. And so again, bringing it all together, be smart. Secure, model, ask, recognize, and tell. Secure all guns in your homes and vehicles. Model responsible behavior. Ask about unsecured guns in other homes. Recognize the role of guns in suicide. And tell your peers to be smart. And we have contact information, and this presentation will be made available on the school district's website. But just in the meantime, if you want additional resources, we encourage you to go to www.besmartforkids.org. And I'll repeat that one more time, www.besmartforkids.org. Or you can email your contact information to the volunteers in the Midlands, and it's Midlands, MIDLANDS, besmart@gmail.com. As you can see from several incidents that have happened around the nation and within our community, it is the most important thing that we can do as a community to come together to safeguard our children. Let's continue to be smart. Thank you, Ms. Galloway, for your leadership in ensuring that we get this off the ground. Thank you to our Sheriff's Department and Police Department for partnering with us, and thank you for our community for continuing to ensure that we safeguard our children. And Dr. Jackson, this concludes the presentation for the evening, and I apologize for the technical difficulties.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Dr. Martin Knox, for the tour of Sumter as well as the Be Smart presentation this evening. And the young lady, I didn't get her last name, Miss Sarah Ben, for what she delivered to us as well. We're now at the place on our agenda that calls for executive session. I want to thank our staff and our visitors for attending and or participating in tonight's proceedings. We hope that you will be with us when we return to open session. However, if you must leave, please remain safe. Trustees, is there a motion to enter into executive session?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
Dr.
move that we
Baker.
enter into executive session for discussion of individual student matters, transfers in, out of district, the monthly personnel report, discussion of compensation, employment, release, and transfer of certified and classified employees, personnel matters regarding the superintendent's search, including deliberation, and as needed, receipt of legal advice concerning a pending claim on behalf of Dr. Martin Knox, and if needed, on behalf of the Sumter County concerned clergy.
Okay. A motion has been made and second that the board enter into executive session for discussion of individual student matters, transfers into and out of district, the monthly personnel report, discussion of compensation, employment, release, and transfer of certified and classified employees, personnel matters regarding the superintendent's search, including deliberation, and as needed, receipt of legal advice concerning a pending claim on behalf of Dr. Martin Knox, and if needed, and on behalf of the Sumter County concerned clergy. Is there any discussion? If not, would you please cast your vote? Yes. Yes, I did. Okay, the motion passes unanimously, and the board is now into
To approve the personnel report as discussed in executive session.
Sean.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the board accepts the superintendent's recommendation to approve the monthly personnel report,
Second.
compensation, employment, release, and transfer of certified and classified employees.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and second that the board approves the superintendent recommendation as far as the monthly personnel report, compensation, employment, release, and transfer of certified and classified employees. Is there any discussion? Please cast your vote. The motion passes unanimously. Do we have another motion, Dr. Penelope, regarding student transfers?
Yes, ma'am. I ask the board to approve the student matters as it pertains to students transferring in and out of Sumter School District as discussed in executive session.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the board accepts the superintendent's recommendation to approve the individual student matters transfers into and out of district.
Okay, there has been a motion and a second that the superintendent accepts the recommendation to approve the board accepts the recommendation to approve the individual student matter transfers into and out of district. Are there any discussion? Please cast your vote. I did. Affirmed it. what did I voted in favor of it. I'm sorry. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. I didn't know. I was trying to move the voting out of my view. That's what happened. I'm sorry. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Are there any objection to the approval of the consent agenda? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. And to all of our meeting participants and voters and viewers, we'd like to say please remain healthy, be safe, and have a wonderful week. And this meeting, having no further business, is adjourned at 9:57 p.m. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.